Hi everyone, my name is Joshua and it's my night to share words with my family again. And tonight we will be reading in Proverbs chapter 28. I'm going to go ahead and start with verse 1. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers, but with men of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. A poor man who oppresses the poor is a beating rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive against them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is perverse in his ways. He who keeps the law is a wise son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. He who augments his wealth by interest and increase gathers it for him who is kind to the poor. If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. He who misleads the upright into an evil way will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who has understanding will find him out. When the righteous triumph, there is a great glory, but when the wicked rise, men hide themselves. He who conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Blessed is the man who fears the Lord always, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a cruel oppressor, but he who hates unjust gain will prolong his days. If a man is burdened with the blood of another, let him be a fugitive until death. Let no one help him. He who walks in integrity will be delivered, but he who is perverse in his ways will fall into a pit. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits will have plenty of poverty. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, but for a piece of bread a man will do wrong. A miserly man hastens after wealth, and does not know that and does not know that want will come upon him. He who rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue. He who robs his father or his mother and says, "That is no transgression," is the companion of a man who destroys. A greedy man stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be enriched. He who trusts in his own mind is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom will be delivered. He who gives to the poor will not want, but he who hides his eyes will get many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. And so the original verse that I actually got was verse 9, where it says, "If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination." And one thing in the Bible that is a law that God says is love the Lord before anything else. Love the Lord with all your heart. And if you truly love the Lord, you'll obey him and do what he says. So if you're not obeying his law, and that's just one of the laws he says, but if you're not obeying what God's telling you to do, what he has commanded you to do, then he will not, your prayers will be an abomination. He won't listen to your prayers because you're not listening to his commandments. It's like if you had a friend, why would you expect them to listen to your or your what you're talking about, your conversations, when you're not listening to them? It's a two-way thing. It's not one way. You can't expect someone to listen to you, but you never listen to them or hear what they have to say. So when the Lord is telling you to do something, you're supposed to listen and do what he says. And if you're not doing what he says, don't assume he's going to hear you, or don't be questioning or mad because he's not listening to your prayers, because if you're not doing the same for him, you can't expect him to do the same for you. And then another one that stuck out to me was verse 4. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive against them. And one thing that I thought of is how people who are alike tend to kind of come together, and this is kind of what is saying here. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. So because they're doing the same thing as the wicked people, they're praising them because they don't want to seem less than them. They don't want to seem like they're out of place because other people are doing the same thing. But those who keep the law strive against them. So if you truly are doing good, truly trying your best to do the best you can, you're not going to find these wicked people high and lifted up. You're not going to praise them because you know they're doing wrong, and you're going to do the opposite of them and stick out because you know you're doing the right thing. So if you're truly doing the right thing, you're not going to fit in with the group, but you're going to be the one that sticks out and doesn't praise the wicked things that other people do. Because a lot of people tend to go with the flow of things and end up doing something that they know they shouldn't be doing, but they want to do it anyway because they want to fit in or just be like everybody else. And so they praise what they're doing because they want to be able to do the same thing and make it seem right to them, when in reality and deep in their heart they know it's wrong. And then another verse was verse 19. It says, "He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits will have plenty of poverty." And so one thing that our mom has said to us before is that every one of us has $1 million seed. And whether we grow that seed or we just leave it alone and don't do anything with it is up to us. If you grow and mature that seed that's in you, which could be the gift that God has given you, if you grow and mature it and keep building it up, then you will slowly get bigger and bigger in whatever that thing is, so that in the future you will prosper in it because you've been building it up all this time. But if you decide not to do anything with it and it's just sitting there doing nothing, then it's just gonna, in the end, when the time comes for you to use that seed or that gift, you can't use it to its fullest potential because you haven't been building it up to the point God wants you to. And then the last one I was going to talk about was verse 23. "He who rebukes a man will afterwards find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue." And so one man who I know is always telling people the truth, no matter how mad they may get against him, is my father. He's always telling people what God says to say, and he doesn't care about what people think about him because he knows that in the end, because he's saying the truth, he's going to get the truth back. When God gives him a word to give to someone, he says it, and so God will give him the truth that he needs to hear. Anything he needs to do to correct himself or to need to know in life. When he asks God a question, God will give him the answer because he's always giving the word that God tells him to give. So he who rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue. So a true friend, a true brother, will tell someone when they're in the wrong and when they're in the right. They won't flatter them just to make them feel good, because if you truly love someone, you want to see them succeed and not just not hide by this illusion that they're succeeding, but in reality they're failing. So you want to truly tell them the truth no matter what it is. And a lot of people joke around about how best friends will tell each other the truth, while fake friends will just tell you what you want to hear to make you feel better. But in reality, like I said, true friends, best friends, brothers, sisters, things like that, will truly tell you the truth so that you can grow and do better in that area, whatever area it is. And even the same thing with God. If you're telling the truth to others, then God will tell you the truth. He'll tell you where you're in the wrong, what you need to correct, and he will help you do better in those areas. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good night.